Everybody, good afternoon. If we can have everyone's attention, please. If we can have everyone's attention, please. Good afternoon. We've got a terrific meeting about to begin, so let me just say good afternoon. The board meeting of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey and its component units is now being called to order. Today's in-person meeting is also being held virtually via video conference with the proceedings live streamed from the Port Authority website. Earlier today, the Committee on Capital Planning, Execution, and Asset Management met an executive. That report will be filed with the official minutes of today's board meeting. The Commissioners also met an executive earlier today to discuss matters related to security or public safety, matters related to personnel or personnel procedures, matters involving ongoing negotiations or reviews of contracts or proposals, and to discuss and act upon matters related to the purchase, sale, or lease of real property where disclosure would affect the value thereof or the public interest. Our first order of business, we have a wonderful day today. And the first one we're kicking off, we're going to welcome our newest commissioner, Fanny Cedeno. Fanny, welcome to the board, Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. We are now going to commence an official swearing in, as is our tradition. We begin the ceremony hearing from our Port Authority Police Department, the Honorary Guard, and the Pipers, and the National Anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Order! Halt! Right there. God bless. Let it right. Quick march. Right.
You need your microphone.
All righty, please sit. Thank you. At this time, we ask the new commissioner, Fanny Cedeno, to join the vice chair and myself down for the swearing in, and we ask the Commissioner McCabe to read the background.
Certainly.
Nominated to the Board of Commissioners by Governor Phil Murphy and joined the board on December 22nd, 2025. Began her public service career by volunteering with a nonprofit organization dedicated to immigration assistance. She currently manages constituent relations for Union City Mayor's office. She was appointed to the Hudson County Board of County Commissioners in January 2020 to represent District 6 and is now serving her second term. Commissioner Cedeno serves as chair of the County Government Oversight and Policy Review Committee and contributes to several other committees, including Senior Citizens, Task Force on Homelessness, Economic Development and Housing, and Women and Minority Affairs. Additionally, she serves as a representative of the Hudson County Open Space Advisory Board. She is a graduate of Seton Hall University with a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science. Congratulations.
Thank you. Please raise your right hand, left hand on the Bible, and state your name.
I, Fanny Cedeno,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear
and I will bear
true faith
true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the government
established in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
and under the authority of the people,
and under the authority of the people,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of the office
perform all the duties of the office
of the Commissioner of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey,
of the Commissioner of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me
So
God.
help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And after that, we're going to ask all the commissioners, after we do it, Rick and the vice chair. Rick, coming on board. This is weird wearing a microphone, by the way. Can we have all the commissioners come join us, please? Jeff, can you put that there? Thanks. Good, right? All right, we ready?
Thank you.
Welcome the newest commissioner, Fanny Cedeno. Yeah. All righty. Fanny, congratulations. Look forward to working with you, and this is going to be one of the greatest public experiences in your public life. Welcome. We set? All righty. Now it's time to take a moment to recognize the most impactful individual that the Port Authority has seen in its 105 years of existence. Now is the time that we're going to recognize, which we've started to do. I think this is our 6th time we're doing this, but this is time to recognize.
This time we really mean it.
Yeah. Somebody who has been more than a partner. He's been a leader. He's been the individual who has brought such clarity, such a vision. When this place really needed it, back in 2017, the governors knew what they were doing when they tapped on Rick Cotton's shoulder and said, we ask you to stand and do something very special. And the last 8.5 years in some ways went very fast, Rick. And in some ways it feels like we've known each other for a long time. So we're going to have a few tributes to Rick, and Rick is very uncomfortable with tributes, and I'm sure his family can relate to this. But we are forcing those tributes onto him. And Rick said to me last week, and he said to me today, it's not about me, it's about the employees. And Rick has always said that. So it's fitting that I'm going to start this, my prerogative, I'm going to start with an open letter that was written to Rick. And it was written by all of the employees. Over the last 8.5 years, we have gone to every outpost, every floor, every department, every group, and we've had conversations. And I listened really well during those conversations, and I watched as our leader took it all in. And so from all of those meetings over the last 8.5 years, and all of the conversations that were had, Rick, we have pulled together an open letter to you on behalf of all of your employees. And I'm not really good at reading, but I'm going to try to read this one because it's special. Open letter to Rick Cotton on behalf of the Port Authority employees. Dear Rick, there are moments in life of a public agency when the work becomes more than the projects, more than budgets, more than the daily rhythm of operations. Moments when the mission feels personal, when the people who lead us remind us why we chose public service in the first place. For the employees of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, the distinguished tenure of Rick Cotton has been one of those moments. Mr. Executive Director, you arrived at a time when the region was demanding more of us than ever before. Our airports needed to be reborn, our transit systems needed to be modernized, our bridges, our tunnels, our ports, our terminals needed vision, investment, and courage. On behalf of our very agency, the existence needed to be recast and reimagined and given new hope and a new beginning. In the middle of all that, Rick, the world changed. A pandemic tested us, tested each employee. It tested everything we knew true in our lifetime. It tested our assumptions, it tested our plan, and it changed and challenged us at every turn. Through it all, you led with steadiness and never, ever wavered. You brought clarity of purpose that cut through the noise and the politics. You insisted that world-class infrastructure was not an inspiration, but an obligation. You treated transparency not as a slogan, but as a discipline. You carried yourself with humility that made us all want to rise to the occasion. Across this agency, from the police officers on the midnight shifts, to the path crews keeping the trains running, to the engineers walking the sites in the rain, the airport workers making it all happen, the purchasing folks keeping us ready, the staff making the agency proud, we all felt respected by you. You listened, you asked questions, you showed up early, and you left late. You became our leader. You understand that the Port Authority isn't about steel and concrete. It is about people, your employees. You understood that as the pride of the workforce that believes in the power of public service. Rick, you have taught us that leadership at the Port Authority is measured not only in our projects we build, but in the trust we earn. And Rick, you have earned that trust, our trust, day to day, decision by decision, crisis by crisis. You have earned it by being honest when the news was difficult, by being calm when the stakes were at its highest, and by being relentless in your belief that this once ordinary agency could again deliver on the promise and soar to being extraordinary again. We will forever talk about the magnitude of your vision and the impact of your leadership. Your legacy is born, crafted, and hardened, and will remain for decades to come. We can't begin to thank you for changing the Port Authority, for changing each of us. You believe in this agency. Your belief in us has been astonishingly impactful, and it will be forever, and we will be forever grateful. On behalf of every Port Authority employee, every uniform, every badge, every identification card, every shift, every terminal, every tunnel, every port, every office, we say to you, thank you. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for challenging us. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for leading us. And thank you for reminding us that public service done well is one of the greatest callings. As you step into the next chapter of your life, Rick, know that you leave behind an agency stronger, steadier, and more confident than the one you inherited. Your legacy isn't just the reimagined and wondrous skyline. It is in the people who will carry your work forward. With deep gratitude and deep respect, the employees of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Thank you, Rick. So now at this time, it gets to be like fun time. So, Vice Chair, if you can join me, and we're going to have the commissioners join us, because we have some token gifts to give you, Rick. None of which he's going to be happy with.
Betsy, did you bring your truck here to take it home?
So, Rick, if you can join us, and we have the commissioners join us, I'm feeling like Monty Hall for a minute. Crazy. Crazy. All right, so if we can have the commissioners, this is great. So, so we can have everybody line up here. Rick, you're here, and have the commissioners here. They're all going to present something to you. So the first one, Commissioner Helmy, why don't you present our first gift, which is his badge with the backdrop of the Twin Towers in a lucite container that you will put on your, hopefully your cabinet or something that's meaningful. Now,
Chairman, if I may.
yes.
I would say I've had the pleasure of knowing Rick since I was a young man working for Senator Booker, and there has been no greater public servant that I've known in many levels, different disciplines, taking on the most challenging infrastructure and policy projects that this region, this state, and this country has seen. Rick, thank you so much for your service.
Job well done. So what we're going to do is we're going to present some of these token gifts, and then we have a resolution to pass, and we're going to do 3 dedications to Rick. We have dedicated 3 very special spots in New York and New Jersey that are going to bear his name, which he's not in favor of, but we're still going to do it. So the first one, which we'll get to the resolution, is, we'll talk about the resolution. We'll hold that one off. So who wants to give him 2 baseballs signed by your Mets, 1986 and 1969? If we can, Alicia, if you can grab one, maybe Joe Kelly. So thankfully he was not a Yankee fan because we had to get 27 of them. So the Mets have only 2. So that's the only time we had a problem. I'm a Yankee fan. He's a Met fan. So on behalf of the commissioners, we have 2 signed authenticated baseballs from your beloved Mets. Which year is that, Alicia?
86.
86. Joe, what do you have there? 69. Awesome. Stand there and have a picture with him.
All right. You want to hold one?
Commissioner Bolwich? Commissioner Bolwich? You want to present this to after he's done? You're going to need a wagon after this. Commissioner Bolwich?
Rick, this is a flag that was flown on the World Trade Center on September 11th, 2025. Presented to you on behalf of the commissioners.
Do a group shot of all of it at the end. Gary?
Rick, I've only known you for 2.5 years, but it's been a pleasure. I've met a lot of people.
Port Authority flag.
I've never met a man more focused.
Commissioner LaBarbera, what do you have?
We have, for Rick, a Port Authority flag. And I too would like to make a brief comment. I want to say that my experience since 2017 here, really beginning of your tenure at Port Authority, as a commissioner, I have to
You're going to have to
say that
read that because I can't.
knowing you, watching you, working with you, it has not only been an outstanding result for the Port Authority, but I will say this, for me personally, knowing Rick and working with Rick, I personally feel that I've grown, and I appreciate everything that you've done. I appreciate your leadership and your mentorship, and you're just an outstanding individual, and I'm so proud to have the opportunity to have worked with you all these years. Thank you.
Job well done. One quick photo. One of the things we're awarding, 2 medals. The first is the Coleman Medal, which is the highest medal any Port Authority employee can receive. And so the vice chair is going to read the resolution or paraphrase the resolution, whatever you're liking, and then we're going to pass a resolution, and that is the medal you'll be awarded, Rick. Vice Chair?
It's a very good-looking medal. Tribute to Richard Cotton and the award of the Howard S. Coleman Distinguished Service Medal. In recognition of more than 8 years of distinguished service to the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, the Board of Commissioners honors Richard Cotton on the occasion of his upcoming departure as Executive Chairman. Mr. Cotton has served as Executive Chairman, Director since 2017, making him one of the longest-serving Executive Directors of the agency. He has led the Port Authority through one of its most challenging periods in its history, including COVID, and an exceptionally difficult operating environment. He delivered an unprecedented wave of institutional reform and renewal, restoring public trust, strengthening governance, and establishing a disciplined operating culture. Under his leadership, the Port Authority emerged as a revitalized, high-performing public agency with a clear mandate and a transformative, forward-looking capital plan. So I'm now going to read the resolved. Resolved, the Commissioners of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey do hereby express their sincere appreciation to Richard Cotton for his exceptional service to the agency and the region it serves. And further, resolved that the Howard S. Coleman Distinguished Service Medal be awarded to Richard Cotton for outstanding and distinguished service, and be it further resolved that the Board of Commissioners hereby directs that this resolution be suitably engraved and presented to Richard Cotton as a token of the high esteem in which he is held by the Board, the employees of the authority, and the public he has so faithfully served.
Congratulations, Rick. Awesome. All right. Commissioner McCabe. Do you need reading glasses? Do you need reading glasses for this? Yeah?
Sir?
There you go.
In honor of Rick Cotton, in recognition of his transformative tenure as one of the longest-serving executive directors of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, defined by extraordinary leadership, vision, and a steadfast commitment to public service. Rick's leadership reshaped the region's airports, advanced the Midtown Bus Terminal, revitalized the World Trade Center campus, strengthened our ports, transit, and public safety operations, and set a bold course for the future of a historic capital plan. His focus on collaboration across the two states, sound stewardship of public resources, and unwavering dedication to excellence has left a lasting legacy that will serve the region for generations to come indeed. With deep gratitude and admiration, we honor you, Rick, in this remarkable service that you have demonstrated, and wish you every happiness and fulfillment in this well-earned retirement. Congratulations.
Thank you. Winston. Hope you don't need readers. So we're really just reading we're dedicating 3 pieces of. Yeah, this is what. Yeah. So we'll save the resolution, the longer form, when we're sitting, but there are, this resolution basically contains 3 dedicated moments and pieces of property that are in New York and New Jersey that are going to forever have. But who's Richard, by the way? I know Rick. What is this? You threw me off with that. That's going to say Rick Cotton. So Winston, can you come elaborate and give us an inside peek as to what those 3 pieces of property memorializing this man's service?
Yeah, happy to. Thank you. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Commissioners of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey do hereby name the atrium at LaGuardia Airport the Richard Cotton Atrium, and be it further. There's more. Resolved that the Commissioners of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey do hereby name the Ground Transportation Center at the John F. Kennedy International Airport the Richard Cotton Ground Transportation Center. And be it further resolved that the Commissioners of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey do hereby name the Meditation Room in Terminal A at Newark Liberty International Airport the Richard Cotton Meditation Room. And be it further resolved that the Chief Operating Officer be and hereby is authorized for and on behalf of the Port Authority to make all arrangements necessary to formally rename the aforementioned airport facilities with the signage attesting thereto suitable displayed, and it is further resolved that the Chief Operating Officer be and hereby is authorized for and on behalf of the Port Authority to make all arrangements necessary for a fitting public ceremony within 6 months of this date to unveil the renamed facilities. Congratulations.
Fanny?
I would just Rick, I've had the pleasure for the last 2 years of working with you. You have a quiet strength, and you are a model for what civic service should look like in leadership. It has been an honor to work with you. You will be missed. Thank you.
Now, when I go meditate, the first person I think of. Fanny, Commissioner Cedeno. Yes.
Rick, we're presenting this to you, presented by the Port Authority's Board of Commissioners in honor of Rick Cotton for his outstanding leadership and dedicated service as Executive Director, February 2026. Congratulations.
I'd just like to say I will never be late for a meeting from now on.
Rick, I'd just like to say that you and I go way back to 9:30 this morning. But I've heard amazing things about you, and I just want to thank you for your leadership and just best of luck in your retirement.
Great. Fanny, take a picture. So, Rick, we also have a hard hat, which will be given to you later on, signed by all the senior staff and commissioners. If you haven't signed it, sign it before you leave. Matt, other than the chairman's medal, we good?
Yes.
Oh, we have this.
Oh, in the globe.
This is just a vanity piece. Oh, nice. Just a little ditty I wrote about you, and there's your favorite governor. I got it. We'll take it. So we have one other piece of business, and then after that, we're going to have the commissioners all stand up next to Rick with the gifts. So if I can ask Commissioner Helmy to read the following award, which is a chairman's award, which the chair gets to give out.
I was selected to go twice. I'll let you figure out what that means about who was Rick's favorite.
Wow.
Just throwing it out there. Award of the Chairman's Award of Achievement Medal. The Chairman's Award of Achievement was established in 2006 to provide a means for the chairman to formally recognize dedicated staff who provide outstanding public service to the agency and to the region at large. Richard Cotton served as Executive Director of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, distinguishing himself as one of the agency's longest-serving executive directors. Throughout his tenure, he provided steady, disciplined, and visionary leadership during one of the most challenging operating environments in the agency's history, while advancing an unprecedented period of institutional reform and capital investment. Under his leadership, the Port Authority emerged as a revitalized, high-performing public agency with a clear mandate, a culture of accountability, and a transformative, forward-looking capital plan. Mr. Cotton's leadership delivered once-in-a-generation improvements across the agency's facilities and operations, including the transformation of the region's airports into world-class gateways, the advancement of the Midtown bus terminal replacement, major investments in transit, ports, bridges, and tunnels, and the modernization of the agency's governance, workforce, and operating culture. His commitment to the customer experience, fiscal discipline, innovation, sustainability, and equity strengthened public trust and positioned the Port Authority to serve the regions for decades to come. In recognition of his visionary leadership, integrity, dedication to excellence, boundless stamina, and countless contributions to the betterment of the Port Authority, its facilities, and the bi-state region for over more than 8 years of distinguished service, the Chairman's Award of Achievement Medal is awarded to Rick Cotton.
Congratulations, Rick. All righty, now I get the riff for a minute before we all do our photographs. Chairman's medal. I mean, I didn't need a medal to give to Rick to kind of display what Rick means to me personally. Rick and I met, as everybody knows, back in July of 2017. First thing he said, he goes, "I'm Harvard, Yale, where are you?" I said, "Well, Seton Hall." He didn't say that, no. We met, and it was like this shotgun marriage, and we just knew that we had to do something really extraordinary. And Rick's background, you know, a little intimidating if you Google it. When I met him, I just instantly knew he was the right person to lead this agency. As troubled as it was, as promising as it is, we just needed somebody who was a visionary, somebody who was disciplined, somebody who had great courage and great strength, a strength that you really needed at a certain time. Rick and I talked about it today. I said, "Rick, when did we trust each other?" And he looked me in the eyes. He said, "It was almost instantly." Well, that's what he said, at least. He said, "It's almost instantly." And we had to. Like, the consequences were so great. If we didn't do something really immediate in August of 17 and turn this place around, things could have gone badly. But the governors knew then. They picked this man. And I will tell you, he's the greatest public servant these states have ever seen in the last 100 years. And they will write books about him. And while we're going to say a couple of buildings and a couple of spots are going to have his name, someone's going to write a book about him. Someone's going to write the story about Rick Cotton and how he saved the Port Authority, how he inspired us the time we were the lowest. He gathered us together and said, we have to get things done. And nobody else could have done that. Nobody that I know who had the strength, the fortitude, the patience to put this whole thing together. Rick, I blink my eyes and it's 8.5 years, and you look at what you've accomplished. No man, no woman, no group could have accomplished what you've accomplished in the last 8.5 years. I got choked up talking to you this morning, Rick. It was the most amazing ride for me. And this is the most amazing gift to serve as the chair of this board with these amazing commissioners. But the best part of this 8 years, Rick, is getting to know you. And to seeing you lead this agency and all the employees out there. Lead us from the wilderness to where we are now. You've got this 10-year capital plan that's going to chart the future of this region for the next 20 years. And we're not going back. Because Rick won't let us. We're only going forward. Port Authority is the greatest public agency in the United States of America. And the reason it is because of Rick Cotton. And the 8,000 employees that you lead, Rick. And what you've done here. We could never thank you, Rick. You've given of us. And to your wife and to your daughter, your son-in-law, and your daughter-in-law, and your family. You have given us everything for the last 8.5 years. And the last and least thing we can do is just say thank you. And the last and least thing we can do is take everything you've taught us, Rick, and carry it forward today, tomorrow, and years to come. So from me to you, Rick, with love of my heart, thank you for doing all that you do. You've made this place we're all proud of. You've made us really be proud to be Port Authority employees. Rick, thank you, and God bless you, and can't wait to see the next chapter in your life. So if we can ask all the commissioners to pick up some of their hardware, we're going to surround Rick for one more picture.
George, you stay away from that 1969.
George needs a third hand for the three things he's presented. Go ahead, I'll just go in here. Put this somewhere here. If we can, somebody. Yeah, put it in front. Right.
This is his team.
Is that your team? Helmy's team.
He's trying to steal it all.
Forget it. All right, we got everybody in? Everyone's got you got it? We're good? Everybody have something? Right, thank you. We had the flag, too. All right, so we're going to deviate a little bit after this. We're going to have, there's 8 speakers who want to come up and speak on Rick's behalf to say thank you. Rick, we're going to have them speak, and then we're going to have you speak, okay? So we're going to have the commissioners kind of come back to the seats. We're going to hear from 8 speakers, and then we're going to hear from, then we'll do the video. We're going to finish with the video.
So we've got 7 here
Yeah.
speakers on Rick, and then the councilman, he actually sent out videos.
Yeah, we'll do it last. Remind me. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do the video. All right, the first speaker wants to speak on Rick's behalf. Is Brad here?
Yeah, Dave's is.
I saw him.
Right there.
Hey, how we doing, Brad? Holman Siegel, come on down.
Thank you.
What do you got there?
Well, thank you for asking. I'm Brad Hoylman Siegel, 29th Manhattan Borough President. What an honor to be here. Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. I'm here with a proclamation from the 1.6 million residents of Manhattan to credit Rick Cotton for his years of service, not just to the Port Authority, but such a lengthy career in public service, which frankly is a role model for all of us who serve. And if I could just read, Mr. Chair, a few portions briefly.
Please.
This is the Wizard of Oz part that the Borough President gets to perform. Whereas we are proud to acknowledge those organizations and individuals that are committed to improving our city and enriching the community, and whereas Rick Cotton has served as Executive Director of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey since August 2017, providing visionary leadership in addressing the region's most complex and longstanding infrastructure challenges, whereas under his stewardship, the Port Authority has embarked upon a historic transformation of the region's transportation network, including the comprehensive redevelopment of its 3 major airports and the full reconstruction of the Midtown bus terminal, creating world-class facilities for the 21st century. And whereas during his tenure, the Port Authority has advanced critical priorities in sustainability, diversity, equity and inclusion, and innovation, establishing new standards for the public infrastructure agency and nationwide. And prior to his service to the Port Authority, Rick held senior leadership positions in New York State government, overseeing landmark projects such as LaGuardia and JFK airports, Moynihan Train Hall, the new Tappan Zee Bridge, the Javits Center expansion, and the 2nd Avenue subway. And whereas Rick's distinguished career includes decades of executive leadership elsewhere, including at NBC Universal, senior service in the federal government, including a clerkship with the Supreme Court, which I did not get, and a lifetime commitment to public service informed by academic excellence and service at the highest levels of the judiciary. Now, therefore, I, Brad Hoylman Siegel, Manhattan Borough President, do hereby commend Rick Cotton for his contributions to the city and Manhattanites and proclaim today, Thursday, February 5th, 2026, as Rick Cotton Appreciation Day in the Borough of Manhattan. Just a final note. I greatly admire your successor, and I hope she takes a page out of your book, which is working with the local community. Your leadership on the Port Authority bus terminal involved not just speaking to elected officials, but members of our community, including representatives of Community Board 2, and I thank you heartily for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. As that picture's being taken, we have the Queensborough President, Donovan Richards.
There's Donovan.
All righty. Rick, I never thought we would actually see this day, Rick. We have an old joke, an old saying. When I started in 2020 as the borough president, the 21st borough president, since he's like 29, of Queens, I said to Rick, you know, I'm going to make sure I leave your hair gray before you get out of here. And then he left me with no hair at the end of the term. But truly, Rick, you are, and there's an old saying that vision is the art of seeing what's impossible to others. And you've been a true visionary every step of the way. I've enjoyed working with you on several projects, including LaGuardia Airport, which has gone from the worst to the first in the country. And now as the co-chair, along with Congressmember Gregory Meeks, the implementation of our $20 billion redevelopment of JFK is nothing but transformational. Behind all of the brick and mortar, it's really your contribution to the community, as my colleague said, Brad Hoylman Seaman has said. You know, the investment in the community. During a period in time when we're seeing diversity and equity and inclusion challenged in this country, your $5 billion commitment to MWBEs has really transformed the Queens community in more than one way that I can see. And we celebrate our diversity in Queens. And then I know Gary can attest to this as well. The workers, the investment in the workers, over 10,000 jobs at JFK Airport, 6,000 of those union, and you look at LaGuardia, and I remember coming in during the height of the pandemic, December 2020, and Queens' unemployment rate hovering around 26%, and we're now down to 5.2%. Right. And those numbers will only continue to decrease on the unemployment side because of the contributions that you've made to our county. So our airports are certainly the gateway into New York City, and I like to say Queens, you can't come to New York City without coming through Queens.
That's right.
The only project that I'm upset that Rick didn't finish is the Van Wyck Expressway. That's the only thing he couldn't get done. But I see Catherine Garcia here. Catherine, no pressure. We're ready to get this done. With that being said, it's an honor to call you a friend. Not only a friend, but a mentor. It's really been you. I think if we had to define what public partnership, private partnership looks like your face is like right there. And on behalf of all 2.4 million residents and growing of Queens, sorry, Manhattan. Manhattan is the outer borough now. Yeah, come gamble in Queens too soon. With that being said, on behalf of all 2.4 million residents of Queens, the best borough, the world's borough, I'm sorry, this is just a small token of appreciation to salute you on this day, on your retirement, and thank you to your family, your beautiful wife. I know that we hung out the other night, and of course to the rest of your family. I just want to say thank you for your sacrifices, and thank you for being a true public servant. God bless you. God bless you.
And we'll and can we have the rep from Congressman Gregory Meeks' office come down while there's pictures being taken? Nathaniel? Yes, sir. All righty. You're on.
So it's afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm Nathaniel Hezekiah III. I'm the Deputy Chief of Staff for Congressman Gregory Meeks. The congressman wished he could be here, but he could not get a flight out of D.C. in time. And he definitely didn't want to get stuck on the train because, as everyone knows, he always talks about JFK and the redevelopment there. And I won't mention his favorite terminal because all the terminals are his favorite. But what he wanted to relay to Rick Cotton is that his true appreciation for their partnership in this process for the redevelopment of JFK, the public-private partnership, the strength and of their relationship through the difficult times with the redevelopment of JFK was truly appreciated by the congressman. And I know the chairman, Chairman O'Toole, had mentioned that this is the 108th year of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, but also this is the 249th year of the United States of America. And with that, the congressman didn't want Rick Cotton not to be included in the record of this country. So I am here on behalf of Congressman Meeks to inform Rick Cotton that he will be in the congressional record for the United States House of Representatives for as long as there is a United States of America. And I won't read the entire thing, just in the interest of time, but I want to make sure that Rick has a copy that he can take home and put on the mantle for him and his family to enjoy. And so when the books are written about Rick Cotton, they're going to need good source material, and it will be in the record of the United States House of Representatives.
And while they're taking that picture, is Gregory Jennifer here from Armand Resource? Gregory? Please approach the microphone. Thank you. We got enough room in that house? No? All right, Gregory, and
This is Mr. Chair, this is on behalf of Vendor Voices, and behalf of all of the small businesses in the states of New York and New Jersey that Rick Cotton helped us attain opportunities. I'm going to turn it over to the chair. I know we're not supposed to share, but each of us have a brief statement.
no, we like sharing. We're good with that.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I'll share. Go ahead.
Good afternoon to distinguished members of the Board of Directors, staff, and guests. Approximately 3.5 years ago, I had the good fortune of meeting Mr. Rick Cotton for the first time. I had recently written a letter on behalf of several small businesses requesting an opportunity to discuss concerns with the Port Authority Small Business Program. About a week later, much to my surprise, I received a call directly from Mr. Cotton, inviting me to meet with him and members of his senior leadership team. Quite honestly, I was shocked. I never expected to hear from Mr. Cotton personally. I assumed, as many of us, that the matter would be delegated to someone else instead of Mr. Cotton. Not only did he make time to listen, but following that meeting, he convened a committee made up of department directors to examine our concerns and, where appropriate, work towards real solutions. What made this effort truly meaningful was Mr. Cotton's personal involvement. He chaired the committee himself, and more importantly, set the tone for how seriously the Port Authority would engage with small business community. His commitment was not symbolic, it was consistent, hands-on, sustained over the years, as a result of many longstanding barriers that were able to be eliminated or reduced by the staff. This leadership style comes as no surprise, given Mr. Cotton's remarkable career, from serving as New York State Czar on infrastructure to overseeing the transformative projects such as the airport redevelopment, Moynihan Train Hall, and the planning of the new Midtown bus terminal. Mr. Cotton has always understood that infrastructure is ultimately about people and opportunity. Under his leadership, the Port Authority modernized the facilities, embraced climate responsibility by adopting the Paris Accord, and moved towards it with a clear vision for the future, all while maintaining a strong sense of public service. Today, I am proud to say that I just don't consider Rick a respected leader. I consider him a friend. While I am saddened to see you leave the Port Authority, Rick, I am also truly happy for you and wish you all the best in your well-deserved retirement. You should be immensely proud of the many accomplishments of your professional life and the legacy you leave behind as the longest-serving leader of the agency since 1940s. On a personal note, thank you, Rick, for your tireless leadership, your accessibility, and your genuine dedication to leveling the playing field for the small business community. You will be deeply missed, but your impact will be felt for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Want to thank you, Rick, and I want to thank his family for sharing Rick with me and others. Rick, I met you years ago when I opened up my fabrication rebar shop. I've been in business for over 28 years, and when I met you, I told you it was a challenge for me and others. but specifically me, opened that fabrication rebar shop, one of the smallest minority companies to open up a fabrication shop. You said, Andy, we're going to take care of that. So, Rick, today, you know, I worked on and completed Terminal 6, the roadway, which was a big job for me there. I worked on the Van Wyck. I'm on the George Washington. I'm on the Lincoln Tunnel. I'm at Newark Airport. I work with LaGuardia. And I was able, out of my Brother's Keeper program that I started since 1997, I got those young men and young women coming home from jail also working with me. So you are truly a game changer, Rick. I thank you, I appreciate you, and you cannot be forgotten. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Chairman. Good afternoon, Vice Chairman. Commissioner Eve, if it wasn't for your father many years ago, I wouldn't have been able to help so many people. So I'm just happy to see you fulfilling the legacy of your family. We often hear Rick Cotton referred to by the media as the czar of infrastructure. And looking at the skyline, at the transformed LaGuardia, the new Newark Terminal A, and the rising structure at JFK, it is a little well-earned, is a title well-earned. He has built terminals that rival the best in the world. His vision has moved mountains of steel and concrete. But I am not here today to talk about terminals. I am not here to talk about concrete and steel. I'm here to talk about contracts. I'm here to talk about capital. And most importantly, I'm here to talk about the doors that were once welded shut, which Rick Cotton decided to kick open. For decades, infrastructure in New York and New Jersey was closed. It was a closed club. The biggest projects went to the biggest players, and small businesses were left fighting for scraps at the table, if we were even invited to the table at all. We were told the projects were too complex, too fast-paced, or that the capacity to participate just wasn't there. When Rick took the helm in 2017, he didn't just accept that excuse, he demolished it. He understood a fundamental truth that civil rights advocates have preached for generations. Economic justice is civil rights. You cannot have a fair society if the people building it are excluded from the prosperity they create. Rick didn't just set goals that could be ignored. He set mandates and created a culture of we can do it. He didn't just ask for good faith efforts. He demanded results. Look at the numbers. They aren't just statistics. They are payrolls met, families supported, and wealth generated in the small business communities. At LaGuardia and JFK under his watch, billions in contracts went to small businesses, billions. That is a historic transfer of wealth and difference in so many families. These weren't just subcontracts for cleaning windows and bathrooms. These are contracts for steel, for electrical systems, for construction management, and so many more trades and professions. He normalized the idea that a small firm could be a prime and be a meaningful partner on a multi-billion-dollar mega project. Rick, you proved that equity and excellence are not enemies. Amen. They are partners. You built the best new airport terminal in the world at Newark. As some would say JFK, but
No, Newark was fine. You're fine.
And you did it while ensuring that workforce looked like the community it sits in. As you step down after 8.5 years, the longest tenure since the 1940s, you leave behind more than just glass and steel. You leave behind a new standard. You have proven that the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey can be an engine for both social and economic mobility. You have denied every future executive director the excuse that it can't be done. Why? Because you did it. So on behalf of the vendor voices, those small businesses, owners who finally got their shot, and these gentlemen standing beside me, they got their shot, and they're doing the job, not just a handout. Who scaled up because you believed in them, and the communities, they finally saw a return on their investment. Thank you. You didn't just build airports, you built a bridge to the middle class for thousands of families. Enjoy your retirement. You have certainly earned it, Rick.
Thank you. Yeah.
If I may, just so for the record, sorry to take the time, but 4 speakers, you will not have to call Dwayne Sampson, Andrew Simmons, and Greg Jennifer, and Frank Otero. So just for the record, so we thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Want to get a picture with, I'm sorry, one more speaker? Great.
I just want to, we have a small business champion plaque to present to Rick Cotton, Executive Director of Port Authority in New York and New Jersey, from 2017 to 2026. It reads, "You inherited an institution and returned it as an instrument of equity. Under your leadership, billions of dollars in contracts flowed to small businesses, not as charity, but as a recognition that excellence and inclusion have always belonged together. You proved that the largest projects in America could be built by all of America. This plaque stands where excuses once stood. With gratitude, we thank you, and on behalf of Vendor Voices, just want to say we really appreciate and we're going to miss you.
One video. What's that? We're doing one video. Yeah. Yeah. Let's get a group photo there, folks. James Allen, who's going to carry this stuff out? We need 2 wagons now. Great. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. We have one video from Chanel Thomas Henry, and that's the last statement we have for Rick, and then we're going to have 2 other presentations, and then we'll go to the video, and then we're going to hear from the honored guest.
Hi, I'm Councilmember Chanel Thomas Henry, representing the 21st Council District in Queens, New York. Among many of the amazing treasures we have in the 21st District, there's LaGuardia Airport. Best airport 2 years in a row, I'm just saying. In 2016, I joined the LaGuardia redevelopment team as the community outreach manager. Full of dreams, high hopes, and expectations of what this economic engine could bring to my community. And in 2017, when Rick Cotton joined as the executive director of the Port Authority, those dreams became a reality. From sending over a dozen students to college for free, with paid internships and jobs upon graduation, to awarding over $2.2 billion in contracts to minority and women-owned businesses, and to opening a career center in the heart of our community so residents had direct access to employment opportunities at the airport. The list goes on and on and on. So I wanted to take this time out to personally say thank you, Rick. Thank you for being a partner. Thank you for listening. And thank you for delivering real results for my community. What you did on the redevelopment program and others sets a blueprint for how large infrastructure projects that affect communities like mine can be done in a way that benefits everyone involved, including the community. Again, thank you for all the work that you've done here, and thank you for your amazing leadership. I'm looking forward to continuing to work with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Rick has started. It's time for all of us to continue. Have a great day.
We're halfway there. That's just the way it is. Jim Heitman, Chief Operating Officer. Kirsten Hernandez, you have 2 presentations. Jim?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Kirsten Hernandez. I've worked for Rick for the past 4.5 years in the Executive Director's Office. I'm here this afternoon with a small sampling of senior staff, Libby McCarthy, Derek Utter, Hirsch Parak, and Lisa Dewey Mattia, to present a gift on behalf of Port Authority senior staff and the departments they lead. Rick, over the past 2 months, we've been trying to find a way to capture what these last 8.5 years have looked like, the broad agenda that you've pursued, and the impact that you've had on the agency. We poured back through the archives over the years of groundbreakings, of ribbon cuttings, of facility tours, community events, and employee celebrations to ultimately gather these photos in one place where you can reminisce on your years with the agency. We also collected testimonies, stories, and quotes from your senior staff, the little memories that tell the story of what you have meant to this place. We're proud today to present you with this commemorative book titled Rick Cotton, A Legacy of Leadership, as a token of our appreciation of your service and to wish you well in your retirement. Rick, on behalf of everyone at the Port Authority, both current and retired, who contributed to this book, it's been an honor to be a small part of your impact on the organization and the region at large. We hope that this book is a reminder of what you've accomplished, of your very favorite things across the facilities, namely the LaGuardia Terminal B water feature, and most importantly, of the profound impression that you've made on the workforce. Thank you.
Derek, come on down. Hirsch, let's go.
We decided to write a book.
That's nice. Jim Heitman.
Good afternoon. I don't know how I wound up going last here, but at least I'm going before Mr. Cotton. So, in the spirit of, what Rick has meant to the agency, we couldn't let each of the line departments and other staff departments bring up all the gifts, or else you'd need a U-Haul, not just the 2 wagons. But what we did do is try to put together a plaque for Rick that really is a piece of this, and I'm going to ask Vice Chair Linford, because this is really from the Port Authority staff and the Port Authority board. Rick opens every one of these meetings thanking the 8,000 employees. Whenever you're in a public space with either the chairman or Rick, they're always quick to say, couldn't do it without the other. So one thing that we're going to do a little bit of a surprise here, we not only have a gift for Rick, parting, but we also have a gift for Chairman Kevin J. O'Toole.
Oh, wait a minute. The Daily News is wrong. I'm not leaving.
So when I told Peter we were going to do this, he's like, you can't make it seem that he's leaving. So this is your staying award, and that's his.
Nice tightrope, Jim.
So, and, it kind of captures the partnership bromance between the two, and I'll go through it a little bit about that. So, I'll just tell you what's on there because you can't see it, but we'll ask you to come up, and I'll ask Vice Chair Linford to look at, read what we put on the plaque. But what we did is we took a piece of container from the container ships. People don't understand or always know that container cargo was created in the port, in our ports. So we have one piece of metal with a ship and a crane to represent the ports. Just similar to represent tunnels, bridges, and terminals, we have a slice of the cable from the suspension cable for George Washington Bridge, just as a reminder of all of the great things that the two of you have done. That is safe. It's safe. It's the old one, Rick. It's the old one. We also, for PATH, cut out a slice of rail, also safe, Rick. But just to, not the third rail, not the third rail. So just to thank and acknowledge, you know, the great work and money you found to help us stabilize the tracks and bring the great new service, all of that hard work. We also have the World Trade Center icon with the flag on it. That's a story that goes back to 9/11. After 9/11, our op services guys actually created that icon that wound up flying in flags over Afghanistan and Iraq, and that was really the Port Authority symbol for 9/11. This is a big year coming up for 25 years. The chairman challenged us to do that, and we're stepping up to that challenge. For aviation, we did two things. We took the Prix Versailles Award for the best architectural terminal for Terminal B at Central Terminal Building on Rick's plaque, and we put the Terminal A, because they both won Prix Versailles Awards, on the chairman's. And then the piece that I really think represents the real heart and soul of the Port Authority, not just the 8,000 people who are here now, the retirees, the board, prior board members who had the pleasure of serving under, you know, working with the two of you. We had this single piece of steel. It's a special piece of steel that had crosses cut out. We can tell you that story later, but what we did is we cut it in half, and we mounted half on yours, Rick, and half on yours, Mr. Chairman, just to represent the great leadership. Thank the board for a unanimous vote on everything that was brought forward. That seems like it's easy. It's not. We got so much better value from all of the input from the two of you and the boards and prior boards. So I really want to thank you for that on behalf of everyone. And I'd ask Vice Chair Linford to read the inscription to capture our feelings about you. They're the same. Let me do that.
I'm getting one for staying? You've committed to stay for
I'm staying.
5 years.
The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Executive Director Rick Cotton, Chairman of the Board Kevin J. O'Toole, a historic partnership yielding historic results for the region. Heartfelt thanks from the PA staff and the Board of Commissioners this February 5th, 2026.
Not Richard Cotton, and I got the Kevin J.
O'Toole. That's why you said that. That was, it takes my breath away, honestly. Jim and staff, amazing, amazing, amazing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Did you know that, Gary? It was in the works?
I know nothing.
Oh, okay, that's a yes. So we have, before we hear from the honored guest, we have a special video that senior staff has been working on. It's a few minutes, I think it's like 12 or 13 minutes, but it is worth every minute. It captures as best as humanly possible and pictures the story of Rick.
The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey is one of the most complex public institutions in the world and responsible for the region's airports, bridges, tunnels, ports, and transit systems that millions rely on every day. By 2017, that responsibility weighed heavily. Decades of underinvestment, rising demand, and public frustration had taken their toll. The challenges were visible, the scrutiny was intense, and the work ahead left little room for missteps. Rick Cotton became executive director of the Port Authority in August of 2017, at a moment that demanded steady leadership and clear direction. working with Chairman Kevin O'Toole, Vice Chairman Jeff Linford, and the Board of Commissioners, agency leadership, and a workforce of extraordinary skill and dedication, the focus was on restoring confidence, both internally and externally, and on delivering for the region. What the moment required was credibility, competence, and calm. The ability to operate across New York and New Jersey, across federal, state, and local government, and across disciplines as varied as engineering, finance, law, construction, and technology. Rick brought those qualities to the role and helped guide the Port Authority through one of the most consequential chapters in its history.
This is not some magic trick where our airports went from worst to best with the tap of a wand. But it is an extraordinary story, a story of opportunity, high ambition, and ultimately of an institution.
And we had a meeting, we said, what do you want to do? We're going to get along. We're going to build things. We're going to absolutely have the past of the Port Authority be the past, the future is the future. We're going to do it. I will tell you that Rick Cotton is the most unbelievable, the most responsible, the most driven, the most committed, the most ethical, transparent executive director, public servant I've ever worked with in 40 years. He is the reason we have all this. He is the leader of the Port Authority. I ask you to welcome our leader, our visionary, Rick Cotton.
Kevin and I formed a true and uniquely fruitful partnership that focused on getting things done in the service of our region and based on the priorities of our region.
None of the successes we've had over the last 8 years would have happened without that partnership. And what that really means is setting the conditions between the two states to ensure that everybody wins. And that has not been the history of the Port Authority, at least in recent memory.
Over the years that followed, including an unprecedented global pandemic, the Port Authority undertook one of the most ambitious periods of rebuilding in our history. Tens of billions of dollars invested in the airports, long delayed projects moving forward, expectations about what could be delivered permanently raised.
Rick didn't approach the Port Authority as a collection of assets. He approached it as a set of experiences, lived every day by millions of people.
Many of his friends and colleagues will talk about his determination, his work ethic, his attention to detail, his intensive management of third-party contractors, consultants, business partners. But for me, what that really is a concrete example of is Rick's commitment to collaboration, to partnership, and to approaching the leadership of a bi-state agency on a regional basis, something that is no easy feat.
Best in class has been Rick Cotton's guiding principle, one he has consistently carried throughout his tenure at the Port Authority.
Systematically, through the customer experience quarterly forums, bringing everyone together, focusing on key performance metrics, focusing on the metrics that are important to customers, like ASQ, and looking at customer experience, wait times, and all of those issues, and holding ourselves accountable, because that was actually the key issue with a lot of our partners.
We are now moving in a direction that not only focuses on the goods or the vehicles that we use to move the region, but really the people and their experience during the move.
That mindset showed up in places most people would overlook, but customers never forget.
When I arrived back here at the Trade Center, Rick was deep into customer experience, but I didn't know how deep until we started talking toilets.
Seeing a non-working elevator or a dirty bathroom drives me crazy.
So when we first started taking some of that data, we were at about 57% satisfaction. And happy to say now today we're at minimum 90%. And that's our standard, 90 to 95%. We've renovated every single existing restroom, and all of the new restrooms conform to the new Port Authority standards. You know, they gave me the quick nickname of the Prince of Porcelain from all the work that Rick was having me do on restrooms.
So Rick also recognized that in order to get big things done, you had to focus on all of the unglamorous aspects of running a 100-plus-year-old organization. He has an uncanny ability to isolate process pain points. He would relentlessly focus on improving these historically problematic areas, things like invoice processing or business certifications. And I think it was this foundational work, it was constantly happening in the background, that supported our agency's ability to move quickly on so many mega projects at once.
His mastery of detail
his ability to recall numbers, his ability to recall precedents, his knowledge of names of people, of partners, not only staff.
He never asked you to do anything that he wasn't prepared to do. And so when someone shows up like that, then you want to do for them. You know, you want to accomplish the task.
From my standpoint as a superintendent of police, his commitment to public safety has been paramount. The investment that the director has made, the support he has made, we are the largest we've ever been as a police agency, and nobody else does what we do. So I am eternally grateful for that.
No matter what I call him on, no matter what time, day, night, or early morning, he's just on the game. He has the answer, he gives the very direct instructions about what his desires are, and then he always asks, because at the end of the thing is, Greg, do you need anything?
His stamina for a day's worth of work is legendary. He doesn't stop at 12 hours. I don't think he stops at all. But I really wanted to get in at the early morning hours. So I asked him if he was open-minded to have rooster calls. And we all know when roosters get up. So not only was Rick open-minded about that, but there were spontaneous calls, which I received from Rick, asking whether it was too early for a rooster call. And just for the record, I think it was before the real roosters were up.
Every little detail matters to him, and when you're going over, the board work, he makes sure that every word, every comma, everything has to be in order. He brings a sense of perfection without overdoing it to this place. He has really made us all better leaders, better employees, better colleagues, and he has just brought us to a different league.
One of my first interactions with him, we were talking about a customer messaging project, and I had told him that we were modeling what we did after something someone else has done, and he said, "What made you think that repeating a bad idea is a good idea?" It was funny, but also really made me realize you don't just, blindly do things because they've been done in the past, but really think about why you're doing things and the impact you're having.
Right, in terms of what my biggest takeaway is about Rick and his leadership, it would be his continuous focus on preparation, on delivery, accountability, and most importantly, on the customer. In terms of a Rickism, well, I can't forget how he would call me out by my name. Diane, 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 Diane. If it was only 3 times, I was in pretty good shape. When it would become 5 Dianes in a row, I knew I was in hot water. So one of the things I'll remember is that rather than tell my team that Rick was right, I started telling my team that Rick wasn't wrong.
Rick has been enormously successful in being able to react quickly, thoughtfully, and with excellence to accommodate all the changes in the world. And he has been able to absorb everything from the Winter Storm Grayson through COVID, where of course he was our national poster child of the first victim, all the way through the current changes in the previous, but always there's been a relentless desire to get things done.
He's always one who says, bring problems out early. Hiding problems are not a good approach. And so he's the type of person who will take a problem, help you dissect it, think about it, and he's very thoughtful. And so he will stop and think, and there'll be long pauses of silence, and everybody expects that. But when he speaks, it comes with such weight that I think people feel like they're getting extremely good advice.
Clearly, he's sui generis, which means he's unique, rara avis, which means he's a rare bird, and we are lucky to have him leading the flock.
Customer first also meant paying attention to people who rarely get the microphone, but keep the system running.
He made himself available to sit down with the drivers, to hear their grievances and concerns directly. And he didn't do it for a photo op, not for press, not because he had to. He did it just to listen, to really listen, with the intent of making things better for the drivers who serve our airports every day. And it felt like Rick really rooted for them with genuine respect and regard.
Rick fundamentally understands that community engagement is not only the right thing to do, but it's critically important to advancing the agency's mission.
Going out to talk to constituencies and communities can often elicit, let's just say, passionate opinions. Nowhere was this approach tested more than at the Midtown Bus Terminal, a project debated for decades and stalled at every level.
We presented that to the community and it was a resounding over our dead body. We will fight this tooth and nail every step of the way because you are not righting the historic wrongs that were created by this facility when it was first built, and the wrongs that have been exacerbated as the bus traffic has increased, as commuting has increased. So what happened was we went out and we listened. We held hundreds of meetings with community stakeholders. We went from over our dead body to unanimous approval at the community board.
So Rick has really taken the philosophy that no big project can get done without heavily involving the community. And I think that's been a sea change for how the Port Authority has worked in the past. And as a result, we've organized ourselves to work very collaboratively with the community to ensure that that everyone wins, that there are jobs, that there are investments in the community, that there are real sensitivities to getting business opportunities in the community, which are at the forefront of our thinking when we work on a very large project now.
This is a public-private partnership. I'm here to tell you that we would not be where we are without the focus, without the determination, without the leadership, Rick Cotton.
I feel like the LaGuardia Airport redevelopment was exemplary reflection of Rick's leadership and vision. His leadership led us through that program and developed a clear roadmap for how we redevelop airports in an operating environment. That roadmap was then taken and reflected at Newark and now at JFK and has been emulated actually across the country.
I love to talk and think about all of the number of times that Rick would meet world-renowned architects, and they would come in and talk about the nuanced way that they brought in the state or the city into their design, and watch him stop them and tell them no one is going to understand anything of what you just said.
There's no problem that's too small. When we had a columnist from the New York Times write about a very bad trip he had in Newark, he said, let's go for a ride. And we went back and retraced the walkway of the individual through the bathrooms, to the walkway, to the air train. And we said, we have to make it better.
Opening up the Northeast Corridor Station Access Project and setting the vision for a new Newark airport.
Rick set a new bar for customer service at the Port Authority. I can remember consistently meeting at the airport at 5:30 in the morning with Rick to do a walkthrough. And later, as the construction moved on, we would make sure that all the consistencies of the terminal was up to the standard that Rick was looking for.
The new terminals could not be generic. They could not be charmless. They could be anywhere facilities. Each had to evoke a distinctly New York or New Jersey sense of place. That is why we commission professionally curated world-class public art installations. It is also why we curated local concessions, offering authentic and distinctive cuisine. It is why we sought out inspiring, engaging wow moments like LaGuardia's now famous laser light fountain show, particularly popular with the younger set, to elevate the experience.
Rick supports the team, and the team wants to succeed for him. That motivation is powerful. It is rare, and it has defined JFK's ability to persevere, excel during one of the most demanding periods in its history.
Rick Cotton, who comes to me with the most brilliant ideas, and I always say, Rick, you had me at hello. I mean, I want to build, I want to do more, I want to show our audacity, our ambition, to remind people how great we are. I want to thank you for extraordinary leadership for many, many years.
Courageous leadership, brave, without the politics. He's real, he's authentic, he's a true visionary, and I think there's once in a lifetime I've seen a leader and that person looks and acts like Rick Cotton, and it is Rick. He has really redefined what a public servant is.
Extraordinary leadership, all of our external transformative projects, but equally important, I've borne witness to his tireless leadership of the more than 8,000 Port Authority employees.
He didn't need to be here. He chose to be here, and he chose to come in and show us what being a real leader embodies.
The great thing is, Rick has instilled in me and others like me the knowledge that we must continue that legacy and we must pursue that greatness with a relentless passion that he has instilled in all of us.
The way Rick proved that government can work and we can deliver projects in a timely fashion, that what we promise we deliver.
The impact of this period is visible across the region. Projects delivered, momentum real. But what endures is the standard. A port authority that knows it can deliver at scale. A workforce confident that excellence isn't aspirational, it's expected. Rick Cotton met the moment, and he left the institution ready for what comes next.
I am honored to have played a part in this story, to have worked alongside so many extraordinary people, and who had the chance to help shape a city and a region for the future.
Now, before Rick gets the microphone, we've got a few commissioners who have asked that they could say a few things, and then we're going to hear from Rick. Vice Chair, you kick it off, please.
Well, it's hard to follow the chairman and everything that's been said, but I have a couple of words. 3 words that succinctly summarize your tenure, Rick. Clarity of purpose. Rick's leadership has been a unique amalgam of focus, constancy, and indefatigable work ethic. And so we salute your leadership and accomplishments with unalloyed gratitude and admiration. And thank you, thank you, thank you, as my mother used to say.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Any other commissioners want to be heard? Commissioner Eve.
I will be brief. Very few people know, other than his family, that I've known Rick for more than 40 years. We first met when I was a congressional intern in Washington, working for the now defunct Select Committee on Narcotics Abuse and Control. And he gave me great advice as I think the former counsel to, I'm really dating myself, I think to Joe Califano, who was a drug czar in the 1970s or early 80s. Since more than 40 years ago, we have worked together and with each other on lots of different projects when he was in the private sector and I was in the public sector, and I was in the public sector and he was in the private sector. But the last 9 years have been absolutely extraordinary for all the reasons that have been articulated. It has been a special honor and privilege to have known you for as long as I have and to have learned from you. And I'm sharing this publicly now because even though we will miss you, I hope that you are just going to be doing whatever you and your children and daughter-in-law and your beautiful bride desire for you to do. And so we may never see you again, and that's a good thing because I hope that means that you're relaxing, whether it's being a couch potato, which I can't imagine, or exploring the world. But I want to echo the thanks for your leadership, but I also want to echo the thanks for your mentorship and all that I have learned from you in the past more than 40 years. Thank you and Godspeed for whatever you choose to do in the future.
Commissioner McCabe.
Thank you. I want to say that when I came on board, and it speaks volumes to what we've heard quite a bit today, at least the example, my living example with you, Rick. When I first came on, not knowing well enough, listening more than speaking, for sure, I should probably still do that more often than not. But nevertheless, I came on and there was an issue with the Outer Bridge crossing. During a politically sensitive time, I think there was an election cycle. And of course, Middlesex is the recipient of the outgoing traffic, and there were some ongoing issues that I articulated that was met with a little bit of maybe some consternation. And you came up to me after, and we really engaged a little bit. You came up to me after the meeting and said, we're going to work through you on these issues. And what that told me, and we've heard this word a few times, but it cannot be said enough about your willingness on the new guy from Jersey to build consensus. And that consensus has been a thread throughout so much of what we just heard about today that clearly you demonstrated with the chairman, members of our board, our colleagues, the team, the best workforce I've ever been a part of in any given agency or bureaucracy. But for you to take a leap of faith and a new commissioner and say we're going to work through you, it worked out well in spite of myself, but it worked out well. But it worked out well because you were at the tip of the spear and working and taking and having faith in us. And the other word I always take to come back is legacy. You kept on talking about legacy issues, and well demonstrated in the last video that was just demonstrated. But thank you for a little faith in the new member on the board at that point in time and allowing us to address an issue that was addressed the right way. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner McCabe. Commissioner Barber.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I said a few words personally earlier, Rick, but there is something I want to say on behalf of labor. In my full-time role, for those of you who may not know, I've been a labor leader in this city and state for 33 years and have advocated for workers' rights every day of my life. I want to thank you on behalf of all of labor who may not be able to represent themselves today for beginning every executive director report with acknowledging the workers, the employees, both union and non-union or not represented. I want to emphasize to you that through your hard stewardship and leadership, the job creation, not only through the construction phase, has created opportunity for us to bring people in from the communities to chart a path into the middle class. And not only to mention that these facilities create, with your support, other good union jobs. You were instrumental in raising the minimum wage for workers, airport workers. And one of the things that should be noted is that when you took over as executive director, I had been here a short while, not one collective bargaining agreement with the Port Authority and all of the various unions had been settled, and some, in some cases, for over 10 years. And I remember you speaking with me and you saying that this is going to be a priority and we're going to get that done. And you got that done. And the reason is, and this is what I want to thank you for, is you understand the dignity of work. You understand that all workers, regardless what they do, deserve respect. And you also understand that when you treat workers with dignity and respect, they come to support you and will work harder than ever to do the job for you because they appreciate that dignity and respect that you show them. I just had to mention that on behalf of all of the employees, and I had to mention it on behalf of the unions. You have been an incredible, incredible partner, and I can't thank you enough personally. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, anybody else? Commissioner Kelly.
Rick, I think you know how much I enjoyed working with you, your mentorship, eloquence, the grace and poise you've brought to every meeting and every major decision. So, bottom of my heart, thank you. You've been a great friend. You've been a great mentor and great leader. I think some of the best stories are the shortest and often true. And this one involves Governor Murphy. When George and I came onto the board, we were going through some projects and different matters we were working on. And he said, "Oh, how do you like working with Rick?" And without missing a beat, I said, "The man is a national treasure." So that was a private conversation, but I thought it's important to just raise it here in a public setting because it's the truth, and it speaks to your entire career and the way you've handled yourself and led this institution. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. Commissioner Bolich.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Rick, I worked with executive directors of the Port Authority going back to 1993, mostly in a negative way. And then I joined the Port Authority 2.5 years ago with the appointment of Governor Murphy with George and Joe at the same time. And I found a whole new direction of the Port Authority under your leadership. I've dealt with them from my position as mayor of Elizabeth for the last 34 years, and it's never been a good relationship. Yet, Rick, you bring the ability to work with others, and I saw that on the bus terminal by meeting with people in New York City. You've done that with myself as the mayor and people in the city of Elizabeth by building Terminal A, the Mar Terminal lease that got done. It's these issues that affect real-life workers. And I can say now that a constituency of my city, that working with the Port Authority under Rick's leadership is far different than it ever was over the last 34 years. And as the mayor, I thank you, Rick.
Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you. I did say a few words before, but I thought it was important to, as you leave, I remember when I first joined the board and I was asking you what is one of your tricks to success, and you said that you take accountability and that you're willing to lead from the front. And that is something I think that everybody has seen, and it resonated with me of what leadership looks like and why this place, it is the golden era of the port today. I mean, I'm spoiled. I had 2 years of seeing an incredible institution with incredible commissioners, but an incredible leader. And so you will be missed. You care about workers, you care about quality, you care about arts. Those are the things that permeate and make a civic institution or any institution so great. And so you will be missed. But it is fair to say, and I feel confident that your legacy will live on of excellency because you've established how this place should be run. And everybody is here and will strive towards that every day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Fisher. All righty. We all ready? Man of the hour, our executive director, for your final report.
Well, those kind words and tributes really take my breath away. This has really been an exceptional period of my life. It's been an extraordinary honor, an extraordinary challenge to be executive director. And I don't know quite how to capture this because it's meant as a tribute again to the employees of the Port Authority, and I want to come back to the chair and to the commissioners. But the subjects that that the films covered, the comments, all those tangible, I would say, accomplishments that the organization has achieved, they all resonate with me. So it's actually a very emotional and gratifying thing to hear the issues and, in some sense, the problems I thought I was solving, although obviously with the collaboration of everyone. I came to the Port Authority is in the spirit of public service. It's actually where I started in some sense, which is the first 10 years after I graduated from law school were a series of public service, either governmental or private NGOs. And working at the Port Authority has given me an opportunity to try to champion those values. And I found enormous gratification in being able, you heard the
small business leaders who came. And that is the way the Port Authority, that is the way governmental organizations ought to operate. And that's really what I tried to do. But I want to come back to one of my favorite expressions, which is building infrastructure and operating infrastructure is a team sport. And so it's wonderful to get credit and to be praised, but it really is the accomplishments of the organization. And Mr. Chairman, it does start with you, and you're always enormously generous in your discussion of my participation, but none of this would have happened without our partnership. And it's just the reality. Now, what I could say is I didn't have any choice. But the reality is it's what you said, which is we clicked, and it was, and it's what I say in explaining it, which is we both came to the job from very different backgrounds, very different experiences. But we came here to accomplish something and to do it together. And it's a bi-state agency, and that's a challenging road to navigate. But together, working together, committed to the common desire to serve regional priorities, to make the organization better. And we avoided a lot of roadblocks, a lot of dissension, and we started working on the organization, and that just wouldn't have happened without your commitment and support, so thank you. And I'd say the same thing to the commissioners. It's the value that this group of commissioners brought to the table were both a varied experience. We had a lot of conversations, some at the board table, some one-on-one, and I guess one of the things that I think about in terms of operating is you have to listen. And it's so, I think in terms of talking to all of you on different issues, only a few times with voices raised. Commissioner Baldwin is grouping. It's a big deal, and so I just say thank you to all of you for your support. And what I'd also say again, which is you'd have to be, I mean, you have to have the perspective. You have to recognize who is doing the real work. And so in terms of saying this, and the chairman both feels the same way and I think communicates the same thing, which is it's not rote to say thank you to the employees. It is at the senior leadership. I mean, this agency has really extraordinary leaders, many of whom are in the audience here. And they bring not only expertise and deep knowledge, but real commitment. Sometimes it's a little overdone. But they bring real commitment to getting to the right answer, to having the agency operate at a very high level. And so I just have to say thank you, enormous amount of credit to the executive leadership. But then nothing would happen if the 8,000 employees didn't actually come to work, take up the challenge. And I think the challenge is what a lot of people have said, which is captures a phrasing by former COO of this organization, which is world-class operations of world-class facilities. And everyone has picked up that ambition. It drives so much of what happens. And if there's a satisfaction in these very hard jobs, it is seeing results. I mean, there's a usual caveat, which you don't get credit for effort, you only get credit for results. But when you see results, and you see results at the quality which the agency is achieving, it's enormously gratifying. And what I would say is, I'd say what, from my point of view, so powerfully said by the small business executives who are here. You can't have an infrastructure agency and you can't have a successful infrastructure project unless the communities that are around our facilities feel engaged and actually feel benefits coming back. And I think the agency has embraced that. I think it has delivered that. And that's all part of the commitment of executives and workers at the agency to delivering to the best. So I do leave, this is a bittersweet moment, but I do look back on what the agency has accomplished and feel a great deal of pride and satisfaction. And I leave knowing that this institution is strong. Its people are deeply talented and capable, and the mission is in good hands. And I could not be more pleased to be passing the torch, the baton, to Catherine Garcia. I actually have worked extremely closely with Catherine. Doesn't show up in the public, but she was the point person in the New York governor's office with the Port Authority, one of, is it 58, Catherine, agencies? And so we worked very closely together, and we talked a lot. And she is an enormously talented and collaborative executive. And the agency's leadership will be in very good hands with her, in partnership again with Kevin. There's still a lot to be done. Catherine may not have known that. But this institution is strong, its people are talented. And I, again, would say this did not happen because of me. If I did anything, it was to set a higher bar to unlock the talent and enthusiasm of multiple public and private teams inside the Port Authority, working with teams outside the Port Authority. And I would just end by saying now more than ever, we need people to have confidence in government. Government is not the problem. Government, if used carefully and well, is an extraordinarily powerful force for good. So I would say once again, thank you to Kevin, thank you to all the commissioners, thank you to our leadership team, thank you to every Port Authority employee, police officer, contractor, and public or private partner for the honor of working alongside of all of you and with you. I appreciate your efforts. It has meant the world to me, and I thank you all. Thank you.
Unfortunately, we have other business to do. And hopefully we can cover it quickly so Rick can spend some time with family and senior staff before it gets too late. Moving ahead to the business portion, we'd like to highlight and acknowledge that February is Black History Month, a time dedicated to honoring the accomplishments and contributions of Black Americans. As part of Black History Month, the agency is hosting a series of educational and celebratory events for its employees throughout February. We encourage staff to take part and the commissioners to take part in those events. At this time, we're going to provide an opportunity for members of the public to comment on Port Authority matters. We asked if these 7 or 8 folks could try to limit their comments as much as possible, just given, and we apologize for running late, but it was unavoidable. The first one we have is Jack McKee. Jack, welcome.
Good afternoon. How am I supposed to follow that? Mr. Cotton, congratulations and thank you for years of service. I know you may not want your name on signs in the various airports, but I, going to Newark Airport tomorrow morning, will very much appreciate having a dedicated public servant's name there to remind people like me, as you just said, that government can be a force for good, and it will make a difference. But in spirit of everything you stood behind, I'm going to focus on the work and what's next. My name is Jack McKee. I'm here with Hudson County Complete Streets. I'd like to start by congratulating Commissioner Cedeno and incoming Executive Director Garcia. Looking forward to working with both of you on PATH things. And it was a pleasure working with all of you at the Port Authority over the last year on PATH. We're thrilled about the coming service improvements. And we want to make sure that these service improvements are the first of many and not the grand finale before PATH gets pushed to the back burner. We can't let this happen. It's happened with transit so many times in history, including to PATH specifically, and I'm here as an advocate representing Hudson County Complete Streets and the rider community to do everything I can to prevent that from happening. We understand that work on transit proceeds slower than everyone would like. We don't blame this board for a national problem, but in light of that, we ask you to continue working proactively with advocates to deliver improvements before they become problems. Work on what? Specifically, we ask that the PA continue the ongoing dialogue regarding customer experience items like benches, elevators, and bathrooms. With complete respect to the existing challenges and how hard the PA team is working to address them, we want our transit stations to be places with the facilities that humans need, all the time, as many cities do around the world. As previously requested, we ask that the PA leadership to communicate with advocates regarding PATH items in the capital plan. There is a ton there, and then the update you added, even more. With such hefty projects, there will be opportunities to maximize or squander. Lastly, we understand the EWR extension has been pushed beyond the horizon of this capital plan, but that does not mean our advocacy will pause until daybreak. We'll work through the night. We have to make sure this project doesn't quite literally get pushed out of the picture. Just ask the people in Bergen County waiting on Hudson Bergen Light Rail or the 2nd Avenue subway. Again, it's a long history of it. If there's nothing so sure as death and taxes, there's nothing less certain than a proposed future service improvement to a transit system. So I ask you to be understanding as we advocates, for some reason, just don't go away. I'm still here because I see something, and we in Hudson County see something of such great value to our community, to our future, that we'd be fools to walk away from it. So with that, I surrender the rest of my time.
Michael? Great. And Deborah's up next.
Hi, I'm going to read the Rick Cotton book when it comes out. And, it's hard to come here now after all that and be a complainer, but I'm a disability rights activist, and that's my job. That's why I'm here. You talked a lot about the billions of dollars spent on airports recently, and they are, in fact, palaces. They are beautiful. But with all due respect, who cares? Did you do the math on it to see who goes to these airports? In my world, a lot of my friends don't travel that much. They don't go to airports, maybe once or twice, but they do take the subway, because the subway is becoming more accessible. But the PATH trains in New Jersey have elevators at the stations. 3 of the stations in Manhattan on this side don't have elevators. You have 14th Street, 23rd Street, Christopher Street are not accessible stations. You guys have shown that you can build enormous projects. Installing elevators at these stations is not that much of an enormous project. It can be done, and the PATH system can be completely accessible if a little work would be put into it. And I'd urge you to consider moving in that direction. and make PATH a showcase, just like the palaces you've built at LaGuardia, Kennedy, and Newark are lovely places. The PATH could be one of them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Deborah and Ann. Ann, you want to join Deborah, or you want to?
You know, she's shy.
No, she's not.
She tells me she's shy. Am I repeating? First,
How we doing?
we're doing better.
Great.
I apologize for not being here. I wish you could do this is one thing I wish that you could do like the MTA. I can follow and participate in their meetings because they do it at the same time, so I can watch through either whatever Zoom, Ring Central. So I hope you can do that, because at times, because of certain health issues, I couldn't make it. My heart was here, but I'm also very glad to be here today. Mr. Khan, I want to thank you for something. When I heard you helped at the Moynihan, do you know the lovely ramps that are easy for me to get up and down with my walker when everybody pushes and shoves me when I try to get on the elevator? I'm not blaming you about them pushing, but I have an alternate, and I'm happy, and I thank you for it. I want you to know, you've never heard me say you should ever retire, but I do understand you want to be time with your family, but I want to thank you for that. The only thing I would appreciate also is this. When we get off at the Archer Avenue where Jamaica is to meet with the Long Island Railroad, and I try to use the restroom, and it's very rough because I know there's a lot of homeless and I have compassion. But I would hope the Port Authority and the MTA, as well as Long Island Railroad, work as a team. We have to fix that area because they're blocking access for us to go on back and forth, either we want to go to the air train, to the restroom. I am not angry with them. I have compassion. So I'm asking, please work as a team so we can do the right thing to help them. They attack people, and they really don't always know what they're doing, because I know they have mental illness. So I do have that compassion, but we have to work together as a team. And I'd like to tell you, I enjoyed all the palaces you rebuilt, because it makes life easier for me to get in and out of them, because now, you see the walker I have, tall with the big handles. It helps. So I want to thank you for everything you did. For the new incoming Miss Garcia, we do know each other. She does know me. When it was the straws, I asked her to please work something out, because the population, as a parent of a child with developmental disability, I'm lucky. I'm one of the few parents whose child doesn't eat the straws. And they do eat plastic, and they eat the paper. So thankfully, we've worked things out. But I want to again thank you, Mr. Cotton, for everything you did. I love that you also built that quiet meditation room. I'm going to use it if I have to go to Newark too. Thank you so much, and congratulations, and all the accolades you do deserve. And when they put the book out on you, I'm going to be reading it too. And my son Christopher asked me to send his regards to you. He thanks you for all the times he's been here, how kind and compassionate you've been to him, and understanding how he speaks. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Ann?
She just say thank you to Mr. Mr. Cotton. I don't know you that well, but ever since I've been here, you've been very friendly, and I want to wish you lots of luck on your retirement, and you should have lots of luck.
Thank you, Ann. Appreciate it. Deborah, tell Christopher we said hello.
He will.
All right?
He had to cover me at another event.
All right, thank you. Toby Cook. All right, that's the last one, Jim, and we have a video? That's correct. And you want to play the video for Maddie?
My name is Maddie Bucky's Highland, and I'm an advocate for people with developmental disabilities. But I do want to pay tribute to those members of the Port Authority that are leaving and congratulate the new ones. I do have a surprise for everybody that I will be attending the March 19th Port Authority board meeting in person in Jersey City, New Jersey. And I do want to thank the commissioners for last year for the goodie bag as we get ready to celebrate Autism Awareness Month in April, which I might join for the April Port Authority board meeting, and as well as the June Port Authority board meeting for Autism Awareness Month and Disability Pride Month. So with that being said, please have a great day. God bless you all, and have a great 2025. Back over to the chairman, Kevin O'Toole.
Thank you. That's all. I know, Kevin J. Jim, that's the last one? All right, a couple of quick votes, and which we're now going to proceed first. The As described earlier, we authorized the award of the Howard S. Coleman Medal to Rick Cotton for his distinguished service. Prior to making a motion, any recusals? I suggest there are not. Right? All righty. Comments and questions? A motion, please.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Linford?
Definitively, yes.
Commissioner Bollwage?
Yes.
Commissioner Cedeno?
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez?
Affirmatively, yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Fine?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
And Commissioner Helmy has filed his affirmative vote.
Votes are in order. The item has been approved. Congrats again, Rick. Next item, as discussed earlier today, authorizes the renaming of the atrium at LaGuardia Airport, the Ground Transportation Center at JFK, and the Meditation Room at Terminal A in the honor of Rick Cotton. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Linford?
Yes.
Commissioner Bollwage?
Yes.
Commissioner Cedeno?
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Fine?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy has filed his affirmative vote.
Votes are in order. The item has been approved. I now call upon our Vice Chair, Linford, to provide his report on behalf of the Committee on Capital Planning, Execution, and Asset Management. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Chair of the Committee on Capital Planning, Execution, and Asset Management, I will now report on two items for consideration. The first item authorizes a $145 million project to develop a new, resilient water pump station at the Elizabethport Authority Marine Terminal. This new pump station will replace existing infrastructure that has reached the end of its service life. Prior to making a motion on this item, I ask the Corporate Secretary to note any commissioner recusals.
Chairman O'Toole is recused.
Do any commissioners have questions or comments on this item? I now request a motion on this item. Can I have a second? Thank you. I now request the Corporate Secretary to call the roll for voting on the item.
Vice Chairman Linford?
Yes.
Commissioner Bollwage?
Yes.
Commissioner Cedeno? Commissioner Dominguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Fine?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
And Commissioner Helmy has filed his affirmative vote.
As the votes are in order, this item is approved. The next item for consideration is a $2.5 million project to deploy and test real-time traffic monitoring equipment along a portion of the Trans-Manhattan Expressway at the George Washington Bridge. This project will determine the effectiveness of the equipment to improve traffic flow. The cost of the project is 80% recoverable via a federal grant. Prior to making a motion on this item, I ask the Corporate Secretary to note any commissioner recusals.
Commissioner Dominguez is recused.
Do any commissioners have questions or comments on this item? Hearing none, I now request a motion on this item.
moved.
May I have a second? Thank you. I now request the Corporate Secretary to call the roll for voting on this item.
Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Linford?
Yes.
Commissioner Bollwage?
Yes.
Commissioner Cedeno? Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Fine?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy has filed his affirmative vote.
As the votes are in order, this item is approved, and I turn it back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair. Our last order of business is the election of officers. Early today, the nominating committee met in executive session. Its report will be filed with the official minutes of today's board meeting in accordance with the bylaws of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Port Authority Trans-Hudson Corporation, Newark Legal and Communications Center, Urban Renewal Corporation, and the New York, New Jersey Railroad Corporation. The nominating committee met in executive prior to today's meeting in connection with an election of officers. Commissioner LaBarbera, as chair of the nominating committee, will you please report?
Yes, I will. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In accordance with the bylaws of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, and each of its three subsidiary corporations, the Port Authority Trans-Hudson Corporation, Newark Legal and Communications Center Urban Renewal Corporation, and New York and New Jersey Railroad Corporation. The nominating committees met in executive session prior to today's meeting in connection with the nomination of officers. On behalf of the nominating committees, I desire to report that at the meetings held earlier today, in accordance with the relevant bylaws, the committees by unanimous, and I want to underscore unanimous, action, submit the nomination of Catherine Garcia for the election of Executive Director of the Port Authority and President of each of the 3 subsidiary corporations, and Jean Rowenbeck for Deputy Executive Director of the Port Authority. Do any nominating committee members have any comments concerning this proposal? Hearing none, Mr. Chairman, this concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Roll call.
No recusals required. Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Linford?
Definitely yes.
Commissioner Bolwage?
Yes.
Commissioner Cedeno? Commissioner Dominguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Fine?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher? Yes. Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy has filed his affirmative vote.
The votes are in order. The item's been approved. Congratulations, Catherine. Congratulations, Jean. There being no further business, we move to adjourn. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank
Thank
you
you.
all.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to start our press gaggle. Our first question is Colleen Wilson with the record.
Mr. Cotton, just wanted to say thank you for everything and excited to be here for your last day. My question is really just given the everything we heard from today's meeting and about your relationship with Mr. O'Toole, and just given what we've read and publicized about some of the concerns and issues getting the new executive director and the DED started, can you just speak to maybe Ms. Garcia, your vision and maybe Mr. O'Toole of quelling any of those concerns and how you're going to approach, moving forward with a new leadership structure than we've seen in almost 10 years?
I think that this is going to be something where people wanted to have a lot more drama than there actually was. These two governors are much more focused on supporting the Port Authority, supporting my tenure here, and ensuring we're the most competitive region, not only in the country, but in the world. They don't view themselves as competitors with each other. They view London and Long Beach and all of those other cities as what we need to be focused on. And I know that we will be able to put together a really clear and transparent way to deliver for everyone who's in the region, our customers, our employees, and ensure that we're doing great things.
And our last question is Ramsey Khalifa with Gothamist.
Mr. Cotton, congratulations on your tenure. You just have to excuse me, I've lost my voice, so I'll try to be clear with my question. I released some reporting last week about this ongoing problem with illegal taxi drivers at JFK Airport. Part of the reporting was communicating with the Port Authority, $100 million investment in the future to continue this enforcement. But much of the reporting is actively seeing many of these men still pursuing solicitation, undercover cops who are not approaching them, so much so that these hustlers were willing to go on the record with the press and tell them about why they do this. In this transition, and if Ms. Garcia, if you'd like to comment on it too, how can the Port Authority really crack down on this problem that has been happening since the 1980s, if not earlier?
Well, I'll start, and Catherine may want to finish. This is a big problem, and it's, from my perspective, it's organized crime on the property of the Port Authority, and it's unacceptable. And as the Port Authority, we have to do everything we can. It is a problem that has existed, as you referenced, for decades, and we have to figure out a solution. Solution's the wrong word. A way of deterring that kind of illegal conduct. And what the reservation of $100 million in the capital plan is to support our ability to use technology to as extensive an extent as we can, but to figure it out. And it's important for the resources it provides for action in that area, but it's also important to signal the commitment of the Port Authority to address it. It is a very difficult problem, but as is symbolized by the item in the capital plan, the agency is going to focus on it, work with the legitimate drivers and the legitimate for-hire vehicles, the taxi community, and bring every resource and every bit of energy we can to breaking through. And we have, it's not the time right now to talk about them, but we have some ideas in terms of additional enforcement strategies that we hope will have an impact, and those will be developed and rolled out by the next executive director. So I'll ask Catherine to come to the podium.
You're absolutely correct. This has been a very large issue, literally since I think I started flying as a child, which is earlier than the 80s. But the dollars are bigger. I think what we're seeing is that enforcement action so far, it is a cost of doing business for these people who are scamming tourists, I think for the most part, people looking very lost. We need to take a deep dive, and we have some ideas that I've already been briefed on here around how to merge technology and enforcement. How can we make it so that we're really leveraging our police force to the extent practicable? But it's a whole suite, and it also means that we need to be collaborating in the New York State side, in Queens County with the DA there, and of course, in Essex with the DA there on the New Jersey side, to make sure that if we catch someone and they are really egregious, that we have some tools. And if not, we got to go ask the state legislators for the tools that we do need. I don't know if you have anything else.
Chief Security Officer, Superintendent, you want to add anything?
No, that was dead on, sir, and like we said, seen and unseen the enforcement that's going on right now. We're proactive in approaching it, but it's a very difficult problem to eradicate right now. But I agree absolutely with both directors have said.
I mean, it's to Catherine's point. I'm sorry, Greg, you finish.
Certainly, sir, as both executive directors have said, it's that partnership both internally and externally, internally with operations, but externally on both sides, we're working with our legal partners.
And listen, first of all, to Rick's point, Rick's made this a point of contention and a focus for all of us and dedicating real money, and it's obviously a significant problem. And to Catherine's point is if in fact we find those perpetrators, we have to make sure that law enforcement cooperates with us and treats them as folks who are violating the law, as opposed to just letting them go through a turnstile and come back the next day. There has to be some consequences to their actions.
But
Anybody else? Any
just
other
a quick
questions?
follow-up, is that okay? You say if we find these perpetrators, we know, you go there every day, and these people are out in the
I don't,
open.
not find, fine. Fine.
Apologies. But what I was going to ask as well is, do you feel like there should be a sharper mandate on the police force in terms of enforcement, day-to-day making arrests? I ask that because daily observations, multiple observations from myself and other sources, these police officers have relationships, friendships with these hustlers. They know each other, and they choose not to do anything. Is that something that you're considering?
I think we need to look at it really much more incredibly holistically. If there are not arrests being made, are they actually identifying something that is an arrestable offense that they will not just get a desk appearance ticket for? Are you going to actually have meaningful consequences from it? I know that the officers in this authority have written thousands of tickets. I think you know that as well. But you have identified something that is a serious problem and that we need to take a multi-pronged approach to actually solving it. Part of it is let's look at what are the actual statutes and where do they need to be changed. How are we deploying both our undercover and our uniform forces? Where can we be using technology? And I have some other thoughts that I'm going to work with the ops team before I actually disclose them, so I make sure that they're doable.
Chief Bellucci's getting out of his shoes right now. Do you agree with that, Chief?
Yes, just from last year to this year, we've written over 1,000 additional 1220B summonses. That's the solicitation summons. But in addition to that, we probably issued at JFK 5,000 additional moving violations unlicensed. And every summons that gets issued, we examine that operator. So we're finding that they're driving with suspended licenses. That's an online arrest. So where we can exploit the law legally, we are. And where we can go after their vehicles legally, we do. And again, we work within the constructs of the law exactly, but we are looking at every single hustler that's out there. So last year, we issued 2,600 summonses, primarily the 1220B. Every one of those summonses has been examined. And if the person's driving in violation, their plates are registered in license plate readers, so the cops on the road see the person driving with a suspended license, that's purely a violation. So we are bringing it to the next level incrementally. It's understandable, primarily the hustling charges adjudicated in traffic court. We actually work with the judges to bring the worst violators to their attention, but there are thousands of cases pending, and the worst of the worst we focus on.
Thanks, Chief. Anything else, Tom?
I believe we have Michael Aronson from the Daily News on the phone. Michael, if we have you on, *6 to unmute yourself. Michael, if we have you, we cannot hear you. *6 to unmute.
All right. Michael, if you have any questions, you know how to reach us. We're happy to help you out. That concludes the Q&A. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.